sorry about that.
No, no,
That's a position.
No.
And I apologize if any of you do know her. She's a nice lady, but a nice lady, a nice man does not make a person that should be.
No, and we understand. We're here to talk about issues, and Mr. Chandler, you're referencing the late Kathy Curtis. And my question from a policy perspective or a management perspective, since you also referenced it in your questionnaire about the health issue, do you think that had anything to do with the operations of the office? Are there deficiencies because of that lack of attention that you can address and fill in on?
Definitely, there's a lack of supervision. If you are not in that office, someone else is picking up the workload. Granted, I do not personally know of any deficiency that went on because the individual was not there, but the individual was not there and they were not performing their duties and tasks. They weren't being responsible to the citizens of this county, and we all should require, all of us, both in the local level and the state level, if we put our vote in or someone is elected to an office, if they cannot perform those tasks that we request them to perform, that they personally, like I have put in as a candidate saying that I will do this. If we cannot perform those tasks, we should resign. That's my number one pet peeve, to beat everything. You as an employer would not allow somebody to take off 6 months out of the year and go play golf and pay them a normal wage, would you? Likewise, I would not want to pay an elected official any money if they don't want to do or cannot do their job.
Mm-hmm. With regard to the issue of employers, and this may be relevant to certain employees, long-term employees of the state system, has been the issue of the double dipping with the DROP program, the Deferred Retirement Option program, which Ken Wilkinson, the property appraiser, took advantage of, as did former Superintendent Browder and several other officials. Are you currently involved in any retirement program of the state, and will this affect you if you are elected to this position?
I am a state employee. I think that if I am elected, don't get me wrong, or don't say that he said this because I do not know for sure, but I think as a state employee, unless I request retirement, I would not receive retirement. And I'll guarantee you that I would not do something and say, well, my mother didn't raise an idiot. If an individual wants to say, and I know I'm going to get hit because I worked for the individual, but if the individual wants to take and retire, then they should be retired. They should not seek re-election, beyond a shadow of a doubt, whether there's a double dip in the law or not. I am a retired Marine. I have served my country for over 20 years. I do have a military retirement, but that has nothing to do with my personal job nor the job that I'm seeking for. But if I was a tax collector and I was coming up for re-election, but I had the ability to decide to go and retire, then I, as an individual, I'm telling the people of this county that I want to retire. Why should I seek re-election? I don't think it's right. Never thought it was right. My mother didn't raise me as a fool, but I do not believe, like in the military, when I sought for retirement, I didn't go back into the office and say, well, now I want to be a Master Sergeant Marine active, but I still want to keep my retirement. That's not capable, nor should it be capable in the United States or the state of Florida. They set it up that way a long time ago. I don't know why they did it. It was to get rid of the older people that were making more money and allow for positions to be filled by other individuals, but it wasn't done the way they envisioned it. When the individual can retire and a month later take the same position at the same salary that they were making in the past, that is not right. It's not fair, nor was it the way originally I would feel. I'm not a senator or congressman. I do not think that they had that in their law or in their paperwork, but it's always a backdoor that every lawyer, every congressman, every senator, every tax collector, every property appraiser, you and I would have never envisioned that as being what was being done or what could be done. But when managers of counties and cities decide that they want to retire and then they come back a month later, but now I think it's 6 months or a year, even then, why should a position be held for somebody to come back knowing that they're coming back after they said they're retiring? It's not right. I do not agree with it, and I do not support it. If anyone, and I'll tell you, as a tax collector, if anyone in the tax collector's office put in for the drop program, they would not be rehired in the tax collector's office, and I'll guarantee you that.
Thank you.
In your questionnaire, you said one of your priorities, I think it's priority number 2, is you would review every line item in the budget and determine what's waste, what's not waste, and what's appropriate spending. Have you had a chance to look at the budget?
Not at this point, no, sir. I did not look at it, but as an auditor, that's one thing that I always do. When I get financial records, I just go through them.
Sure.
As an auditor, and I'll expound on that. As a tax auditor, I'd go out and businessmen would tell me before I'd even look at their records, they would say, "You'll not find anything wrong." My response to them was, if I do not find anything wrong with your accounting records where you either overpaid or underpaid, overpaid now, or underpaid, I'm going to go home. And they, "What do you mean you'll go home?" I said, "Because I met my maker. No one is perfect. Not even me, not you, and not you. No one is perfect. Everyone makes a mistake. That's why they have auditors. I'm not there to punish you. I never was as an auditor for the state of Florida. But I'll tell you, I'll guarantee you, and I can't tell you facts because I'm, cannot tell information, personal records that I've reviewed, but not a one person was perfect. That's why I'm still here."
In terms of staffing, would you say that the tax collector's office is running lean, or is there room for cuts?
Personally, I think it may be overstaffed. I'm not in there and I'm not looking at it personally, but I've driven around. Part of my job as a property appraiser is to verify individuals are on the tax rolls, and when I go to some of these satellite offices, 1, 2, 3 people in there, and there's 8 people as employees, I think there's a problem. I don't know for sure because maybe there are 8 people there and 4 hours later there's 75 customers. But I would look into that very seriously. I don't like spending money. I use my money the way I want to, and I feel that your money is my money and it would get the same courtesy. I do not spend a penny more than I have to for myself, and I wouldn't spend a dime more than you needed.
Well, we're coming to the end of this interview, and I want to thank you very much. Are there any final remarks that you might have before we conclude?
Just that I'm here to help serve the county, and I'm willing to do the job. A lot of people do not know me because I'm not a politician. I do not feel this position deserves a politician. Just like the election office, the tax collector, the property appraiser should be nonpartisan parties. It should be elected based on whether you have the ability, have the responsibility to perform the duty, and you request that you be considered for that position, not because I'm a Republican or a Democrat. You can see that I filed no party affiliation for this position because I want it to go to November election. I don't want it to be heard in, the first election for a select few people to vote.
Well, Mr. Chandler, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and best of success to you.
Thank you, sir.